Hello, welcome back to my channel, Pamela's Paper Passion, and I today am going to make a double layout. I'm going to use Distress Oxide Vintage Photo, and I'm going to go ahead, except for right here, and I think I need to add a little bit of ink around here, and I do not want to get ink on my photo, so I'm going to just mask it off with this, and there we go. Get rid of that really stark white. There we go. Look at that. Well, let's go ahead and let's blend this back into that. Okay, there we go. All right. So, I think this side is about finished. So, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put the title down, and I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to start working on the other side. I don't normally do one side at a time. I usually work with the whole thing, but this one is just a little bit different because each page is for a different dog, but the papers go together, and actually even the dogs go together. They're not sisters, but they are sisters. They've been together since Macie was 2 years old, and she is 14. So they've been together for a long, long time. So I bet they think of each other as sisters. So I'm going to go ahead. And then I started to think about, putting a little bit of brown on this. But I don't think so. I think this brown and this brown all helps cut the starkness of the white. Okay, I'm going to set this one aside, and I'm going to pull this one out. And my plan is to do the same thing with the photos, because on the other page, the 4x4s are here, and then the 4x6 is right here. So I want to continue that. There's Molly, and there's Molly, and there's Molly. But, well, look at the difference. This one, oh wait, this one versus that one. And this is what that started out. Wow. That brown really helped break it up a little bit. Okay, let's see here. We are going to go ahead, and I do not want to mat the pictures down yet. I think I want to go ahead and do some stenciling and some ink blending, because I do not want this dark white. Just like in the other page, I don't want this dark white. And the other page up here had the title. This page, it's not going to have a title, but it's going to be embellished. Okay. I want to show you what I use. I'm not using it right now because I guess I got lazy. Okay. I got these at the dollar store, at the Dollar Tree. And what they are is they're cutting boards. But they're plastic. And they work great for inking, because you could put it right there. And ink. I'm going to put some some splatters on here. And I'm going to use this plastic. I'm going to use this plastic to help me with my splatters. And I do have a Tim Holtz glass mat, but I don't do very good working on the glass mat. Plus, I need my large mat when I do 2-page layouts. And the glass mat isn't big enough. And so I just don't use it. So it kind of just sits under my desk. This is really simple to use, though. I mean, because it just sits right beside my desk. And when I need it, I just pull it out and use it. I could put ink on it. I could put water on it. I could use glue on it. It's very forgiving. And it's really easy to clean. Okay. There we go. I just want to take this stark white out. And I figured it'd be easier just to do the whole page. This whole section. I think it looks pretty good too. With using the whole page. There we go. There we go. I think I'm going to use a different stencil on this layout than I used on the last layout. Or, I mean, the other side. It's going to be paw prints, but it's a different stencil. As long as it's paw prints and it goes with my photos, it doesn't matter. So I went and got my other stencil that I wanted to use, and it's just a whole bunch of paw prints. Starts out way down here, and then it gets closer and closer. And I thought with this paper here, that would work out wonderfully. But I knew on the other one, I was going to have the title, and there was going to be so much on that one, I probably wasn't going to be able to put this many paw prints on it. So I'm going to tape this down, and what I use to hold it down is washi tape. This is some washi tape, and if I do not put this down and make sure it doesn't move, I can guarantee you it will move. So I tape my stencil down, okay, and I'm going to start, and I'm going to use that same vintage photo, and I'm going to just go ahead and start getting my paw prints on there. Some of these are going to be covered up with my photo, and that's all right. Others won't be covered up, so I'm going to just do this whole line of paw prints. Okay. I have a whole bunch of stencils, and I think this one here, anytime I'm doing the dogs, is used the most. And that one that I used earlier with the metal, it was a metal die. It was not good for my, it wasn't good for my foam. It started pulling my foam apart. So I decided I was going to come back to this one, even though I'm used to using this one all the time. I thought I'd use something else, but guess what? Here I am using this one again. So here we go. Let's go see what it looks like. Okay. There we go. Oh, wow. Yes, that looks wonderful. Okay, do we need another row of them? I don't know. Let's come up here. Let's go ahead and let's put... Okay, let's see where the pictures are going to be first. Let's see what I need. Because a lot of these are going to be covered up, which are okay. Okay, so here we go. Okay, I'm thinking down here, I'm going to put home is where the dog is. Okay, of course I'm going to have to color that in too. In my little box of embellishments, let's see what I've got in here. This is a giant dog bowl for my little wee dogs. But you know what? It works. It matches the... So you know what? I'm going to use it. And I think these are little paw prints. Okay, so I'm going to use some of these embellishments instead of... I might... Yes, I'm going to... Okay, I got my head on straight now. I'm going to do one more layer of stenciling right through here because I don't want it just plain. Okay, I'm going to just use the same tape that I used the last time. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp these. Oops. I'm not going to stamp them. I'm going to ink them. Get these on there. Okay. I love this stencil. I have several dog stencils, and I think out of all of them, this is totally my favorite. That one with the middle, that's the first time I'd ever used that. And I'm just not real crazy about it because of what it did to my foam. It ate a chunk out of it. And yeah, didn't like that one bit. So, okay, let's see here. Oh yes, I'm really glad I did that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is going to be put there. And I'm going to put some embellishments down here. So, see, I got this one. I think what I'm going to do with this is I think I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut this bark out. I don't think I want all this. And I will be right back. So I got the bark fussy cut out, and I put some brown on the other embellishment, but I decided I wanted to put another column of paw prints. It just seemed kind of bare right there in the middle, so I decided I was going to just put another layer of them. But while I'm doing that, I'll talk about that stencil that I used earlier. That metal stencil, it was a nice stencil. but I had no idea that it would rip the foam off of my little daubers. And yeah, it just ripped the foam right off. So I probably won't be using that one again unless I use it with a brush like I'm using right now, because it didn't do bad with that one, but it really did. You don't want to use a foam one on a metal die, or it's not a die, it's a stencil. So anyhow, I just decided I was going to retire that stencil. I keep calling it a die, but anyhow, I think I'm going to retire that, give it away or gift it to somebody. I don't know. I don't know if I would even want to do that, because I don't want somebody else to have the same problem I had. So I probably will just recycle it, like right in the trash can. But anyhow, I think this turned out really, really well. This is pretty much how I envisioned it to look. And the second layer just didn't seem to cover up enough of the white. So anyhow, I am going to start embellishing this and getting my photos down. And anyways, I wanted to talk just a little bit about the stars in this show, which are Macie and Molly. Macie is a 14-year-old Yorkie, and she's the one I did on the first page. She's right there. And she is, like I said, 14 years old. I've had her since she was 6 weeks old, and she weighed, I don't know, I think she weighed about 9 ounces when I got her. She was smaller than a gerbil. And I thought, oh my gosh, I thought I was getting a dog. And she sure didn't look like a dog. She looked like a gerbil. And anyways, she was tiny, tiny, tiny. And I was scared to leave her, at home by herself all day while I worked. And because, a teacher's job isn't 9 to 5. A teacher's job is 7 to probably 8. So I wasn't home a whole lot at all. And I felt really, really bad that I wasn't with her. So I decided 2 years later that she needed a friend, which was a really dumb thing on my part. She didn't need a friend. She needed me, because she didn't like a friend. So I got Molly when Macie was 2 years old. And Molly was only, I think she was 6 weeks old or 9 weeks old. I can't remember. And I thought, well, she's going to keep Macie company while I'm at work, so I'm not going to feel so guilty. And, I'm going to love her too. And, well, she came into our house, and she was probably maybe a pound and a half. And she was a teeny tiny thing. And she came in like like a pit bull that weighed a pound. And she was bossy. She was snappy. She was bossing us all around. And she even picked up poo and put it on my bed, on my pillow. I had no idea what to do. I thought, well, I'm going to call the breeder and find out what to do, because I can't handle this. This little 1-pound dog making our life not too happy. So anyways, the breeder told us that when you have at least 2 dogs and 2 people, or even 1 person and 2 dogs, it becomes a pack of dogs. And we became part of her pack. And she became the alpha dog. And so we had a 9-week-old puppy bossing us around. I mean, when we didn't do what she wanted, she would bark at us like crazy and like she's going to bite us. She'd snip at our ankles. And I mean, she was just she wasn't very nice. And she was mean to Macie. And I didn't know what to do. So it got so miserable that I just finally called the breeder and said, hey, either you're going to have to help me with this or I'm going to have to bring her back, because her 1 pound of energy is about to wear us out. So anyway, she told me some things to do, and one of them was don't ever let her eat first, because alpha dogs eat first. The alpha eats first, and then the others get to eat. And she said it happens with a pack of lions, with packs of dogs. Anytime you have a pack, you have an alpha. And Molly was our alpha. So anyways, we started doing what she said. We started barking at her and snipping at her and making her very unhappy when we'd put her food down. And we wouldn't let her eat until we pretended like we were eating. And then we let her eat. And then also, she said, when you go through a doorway, don't ever let her go first, because the alpha goes first. And we were trying to teach her she wasn't the alpha, that myself and my husband were the alphas. So, I mean, both of us would growl at her and snap at her when she tried to go first, and we made her stay back, and it was amazing. By 2 weeks, within 2 weeks of doing this, she was 100% different dog. I mean, she still weighed nothing, but she was a pleasure to be around. She didn't do that anymore. She wasn't snapping at us anymore, but she still was the alpha dog when it came to her and Macie. But Macie learned really, really fast to when Molly comes after her, she just lays on her back. And she just, okay, I submit to you. I'm not going to fight with you. I don't want to be beat up. Macie learned really, really quick. And to this day, Molly is still the alpha dog with her and Macie. And so, I mean, I never knew all that when we decided to get 2 dogs. And 1 puppy and 1 2-year-old. I mean, it was an eye-opener. But anyways, when we first got her, it just wasn't working out. But about 2 weeks later, it started working out really well. And Macie finally started coming out of her crate and not crying all the time. So she was starting to get used to her. But man, I never expected what we got. I mean, I never expected her to be like that. I've never seen a teeny tiny little bitty dog do that. I've seen big dogs do it. And she, to this day, doesn't know she's little. To this day, she will go after a German Shepherd. She'll go after, I have to keep her inside because, I mean, she only weighs 3 pounds, and we have hawks out here, so neither one of my dogs could go outside unless they're on a leash right next to us. So anyways, that's just a little bit about my dogs. I love them to death, and one day I'll put them on the screen and let you see them. I'm sure you'll probably hear Macie, because if I'm not giving her attention, she's going to let me know it. But anyway, so I'm making this double layout. I've made many, many, many layouts with my dogs. And I think they're probably my favorite layouts. I guess because they bring me so much joy now. And they're part of our family. And even though I have 4 grown kids and we have 12 grandkids, well, 11 grandkids, one of them passed away in a car crash, but we have 11 grandchildren, and we have 7 great-grandchildren, and 2 on the way. So, but, I mean, they grew up and moved away, and they have their lives, and so now we're proud parents of 2 little Yorkies. And, well, they're not young, they're kind of old. But anyways, I love doing my dog's layouts. I've got so many pictures of them. But my next layout, I have never done one like I'm going to do. And it is, spoiler alert, it is a layout of the sunset in Texas. Because a lot of people that's never been to Texas has never seen the Texas sunset. And it really is pretty, even though it's hotter than an oven here in the summer. The winters are really nice, but the sunset's just gorgeous. So I took many pictures of the sunset coming home from somewhere one day, and I just started snapping pictures, and I have a whole lot of them, and I'm going to make another double layout with those. But what I'm doing right now is I chose to put this little embellishment, this little card, onto a frame and cover up the spot that I messed up right next to where it says wolf. No, I'm sorry, it's on the next page. I cut the paper, the red paper in the back, I cut it too short on one side. And if it was me, right there, you can see where my arm is. I'm going to put it down in just a minute and you'll be able to see it. But I messed up the gosh, I can't say it. The backing, the red backing on the photo, I didn't get it. It slipped, and when it did, it cut off the red off the frame of Molly right there where I'm at. There's no frame. So I decided, okay, right there where I'm pointing, there's no red frame. And I thought, well, I have to cover that up somehow. So I take this here frame, and like I didn't want it white because there's nothing white except the white in the stripes. So I take that little card and I put it behind that little frame and put some ink on it to turn it a little bit brown. And then I frame that and cut around it and cover up my mess up. When I first started scrapbooking, I really didn't know what I was going to do. My husband, I had retired from teaching, and my husband says, you need to find a hobby. And I just started searching, different hobbies, what to do. I love to read, and I caught myself doing nothing but sitting on a chair reading. My mind just would go somewhere else, and I still love reading, but I found that was just probably wasn't the healthiest thing for me. I wasn't having to think. I wasn't having to do anything. So I I went to a friend of mine's house, and she does scrapbooking, and she started teaching me how to do different things. And then when I learned about YouTube, I started watching scrapbooking videos. And I mean, I watched. I think her name's Janet off of RTS. I watched her a lot, and I watched Nicole Jones, and I even bought a couple of her things. One of them was the viewfinders that her son makes. I thought those were so cute. So I bought some of those. And I watched a bunch of people. And I learned a whole bunch of tricks. The visual triangle. That's like on my layout right now. If you notice the way that I put the triangles, I put one at the top, one at the bottom, one at the top, one at the bottom. So it's like a triangle, triangle, triangle. It's got like 2 visual triangles in it. But I wanted your eye to draw across the page and not to get stuck on 1 or 2 things and not go all the way around the page. So I've learned a lot from her. There's a whole bunch of people that I subscribe to that I watch, and I just absolutely fell in love with the craft. And then I started watching Sheeplessly Me with Sandy Brock, and oh my gosh, I thought, oh my gosh, I need to start a sheep farm because I love those lambs. I only have a half acre. I can't start a sheep farm. So, anyways, my options got a lot fewer because you can't have a sheep farm on a half acre. But I would love to have those little baby sheep until they got bigger. But I really admire her and what she does. I mean, she's got so many jobs. I get worn out watching her. But so I stuck to scrapbooking. I watched videos. I learned little tricks. I learned little hacks like this right here, and this little sprayer just isn't working. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it finally starts working. But like the splatters, I used to when I was first doing splatters, I would get big giant globs, and that was not intentional. And so I had to play with doing what I'm doing right there, and I would practice on just paper, getting like a mist instead of a giant glob. I mean, sometimes I want a glob, but most of the time I like the fine mist. Just, I don't know, it just, to me, it brings the paper to life. And so I learned how to do that by watching other people. And mixed media, I have tried mixed media, and I've got a bunch of stuff. Like I said, I like scrapbooking. I like to buy stuff. And I've got a whole bunch of stuff for mixed media. But I've made some, and I just wasn't real happy with what I came out with. You know, and the people that are really good at it, they could have start out like mine, just not real pretty, and turn it into something pretty. Mine just seems to stay ugly. So, anyways, that piece of plastic that I was just wiping off. It is the easiest thing to use, and you get 2 of them for $1 at the Dollar Tree, and they clean up real easy. I can glue and get glue all over it. When I do Mod Podge, I use 2 of them, and they work great. Very, very easy to clean up. They don't take much room to store. I just use them for everything. But there's my layouts, and I'm bringing them up to show them to you. And Macie is under that chair she's in the toy box. And the title and the paw prints and and the banners, I really like the way those turned out. When I first did it, look at the splatters. They're just little sprinkles. I love them. But those little banners, they were thick because they had 2 sets of paw prints going down them, and I cut them right in the middle to make them thinner. And I'm really glad I did, because I didn't want them to be the focal point. But I love the way this turned out. It turned out pretty much the way I was envisioning it to turn out. But anyways, I'm about to close up, and I just want to say, please subscribe. I need people to subscribe. Also, if you have a comment for me and you could help me out, tell me, if you didn't like the video, what you didn't like about it. And if you did like the video, what did I do that you liked? And, constructive criticism is very helpful. Just being mean, no, please don't be mean. I don't do mean. But if you could give me something, your opinion, that will help me out, I would highly appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me on this layout. I will see you in the next layout. Thank you. Bye-bye.